Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We are in our quantum conversation. We are in the quantum realm, and we are talking with a beautiful way shower, Ascension teacher, who has quite a remarkable story to share. And the goal of humans is to work on your consciousness and connect to inner earth. This is connecting to inner earth harmony for the Ascension journey. I want to welcome Beth Rachel here, and we are excited to connect in this way. Hi, Beth. Welcome.
Hi, Lauren. Thank you. Wonderful to be here.
Yes, you are a beautiful teacher. You're really connected to your soul family, your star family, and that makes you a beautiful teacher for all of us. And as we talked a little bit before about your background, those may not be aware of your background. You have an incredible story, one that you actually incarnated in, knowing that you were supported as you went into the depths of this 3D reality. Can you share with us briefly, wow, what that was like? Here you are, you were part of I guess we could call it the deep state, or a dark agenda. Then you got yourself out of it.
Yeah, with some hope. Was kind of, starting to laugh regarding, attempting to find, what do we call it, right? Because yeah, I think dark agenda works. It encompasses, really more than one agenda, but the root of which being, it's self-serving and disconnected from the heart, and very ego-centered, and endless, right? So for me, I came into this life like many star seeds. I think there's a common thread, sort of looking down at the planet, from one perspective or another. I think, some of us are on assignment, and it's very, very much, I'm going to go do what my assignment. Some of us, it's a little bit more, oh my goodness, what's going on Earth has really gotten out of control. I'm going to go help, and let's make this better. Let's step it up a notch. I know definitely for myself, I was very, I have the essence and the sense of where my soul was at the time. And it was like, this domination just needs to end. And I'm going to go right into the middle of it and tear it down from the inside out, was really the thinking, the energy I was coming from. So I was, as coming into this life, connected with my Syrian star family, and planted right in the belly of the darkness, born into family incest, ritual cult activity, and government experimentation, as well as sex trafficking, you name it. They all feed each other. So when you start to really connect the dots, it's not that surprising. In staying connected with that star family, I was often provided support that not everyone is who goes through those experiences, and some connection maintained of, some consciousness of my soul and who I really was. Because it's very easy to get lost in the matrix, as we all know, the amnesia of just being born human, but then you put the other stuff on top and it gets very easy to get lost and disoriented, from who we are as souls, and what we're doing here on Earth. And what I found through my journey was that even though some part of my soul had signed up to come rescue Earth, another part of my soul had its, own awakening, to remember that it's not about winning, it's not about fighting a war. It's actually about this beautiful planet that we were given with this very unique system that's inherent to it of connection and harmony and working together. And that is a large part of what my teaching comes back to and what Inner Earth has to share, which brings us, back around to why that is the topic right now.
Well, I just want to say again, thank you for your journey, for stepping into the role and being courageous and brave and never giving up. I mean, that is a heavy, for the first 15 years of your life, this went on in your bio that people can read more of. It really is, it's disconcerting that this goes on, but here you are today, and we are all just so grateful and thankful, and then that you did it. Um, our topic is connecting to the inner earth, and this is where your experiences have taught you it's really important to connect with the harmony of inner earth. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do, I do just want to ask, the mind control that you were under, was your family part of a government? Were they in the military, your relatives or anything, working in the government?
Yeah, so for a lot of people, yes. For me, not directly. So one way that this happens is generationally, things get passed down and they watch certain genetic lines as well. A lot of the government experiments in the secret space program, super soldier program, all that stuff really started booming during World War II and really had a lot of influence over a lot of the experiments going on and the things that the Nazis were digging up, um and that opened up, they got into a lot of technology, opened up a lot of portals, gateways, stargates, and not that no connection was ever happening, but that definitely stepped us into more of the era of what we know now, right? And some bloodlines they had already been watching, but after that point they really started kind of carefully watching. So during some of their experiments and things, if they already knew that this particular line had these abilities in this category, then they were going to watch their descendants, right? Because we're coming in more awake, not less for the most part, and they're aware of that. And as the awakened ones come into the body, they also awaken the DNA. So that makes it easier for the next generation. And so the dark agenda, or whatever we're calling them, take advantage of that as well. So for me, that was more of what was going on, was that long-term watching of the bloodlines. And then, yes, it's interesting, I've done a few interviews about it, and I have not talked a ton about my direct family and their involvement. They were definitely involved in everything, but more as some people, I think their families are more kind of up here, and then some are sort of more grunt status. I think my family, for the most part, there was a lot more of that going on, which was why there was so much sex trafficking and things like that. So it was kind of like, well, who's giving me money? Who's in charge? Was where I, to my family, that was where I ended up. Yeah.
Wow. This conversation is worthy of a deeper expression and going deeper into it. And that's not what we're doing today, but it really is fascinating. So thank you for sharing that. I think everyone wants to know how you got out of it. I mean, and this is where your super abilities turned on. You, as you mentioned, you came in, you're targeted because of your abilities in the lineage. And so here they are. And this helped you to actually activate them even more. Can you talk a little bit about that? How you how you broke free from it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, those super abilities, they get used in both directions, unfortunately. Uh, so, a lot of it gets tucked away, and this is where we started the conversation about consciousness, right? Tucked away in the consciousness in kind of pockets or file stores. And we're not always directly connecting to all of it consciously. So for me, my life was very compartmentalized. Um, when I was 15, I was already growing pretty tired of being basically a warrior, you know. It was taking its toll in many ways, which I won't go into at this point, but um, my last government mission was a mission in Antarctica where they wanted me to access a device. And the device needed to be accessed by a certain individual with Syrian DNA. And they've tried several different things, and they had actually sent me once before. I think I was 5 or 6 that didn't work out. And didn't end up working out this time either because the device was one of two that were used in the creation of the planet. So it's been here since the beginning and has all the original coding for the planet. My soul participated in that creation time of the planet, and so it triggered up all that soul memory and brought me back to who my soul really was and reminded me that there's more than one way to do things. And if I didn't want to do it this way anymore, I didn't have to. It was that simple, you know? So almost like a rebirth, you know, in some ways in the moment. Some of the other aspects of what was going on with me took a little longer to disentangle from, like the cult involvement and things like that. But as far as the government involvement went, because I had connection with the light and my Syrian family, I was able to ask for help to get out of that part and the project that and my participation in the project that I had been a part of. Um, yeah, so that part ended there, and then there was some fragments for several years after that with some of the other pieces that took a little bit more finagling.
Wow. Okay. I know we're going to move on to the topic. It's fascinating, Beth. It really is. So, the mission in Antarctica, can I ask about that?
Yeah,
That,
sure.
I mean, we're finding that, when I was a kid and or even a young adult and I saw how Antarctica was literally on the map with everyone, most countries in the world have a part of it. It always made me wonder. So I can feel our audience asking, what do you know about Antarctica? Is it a base? Is it ET
Absolutely.
base? And did you go there? Did you physically go there?
Yeah, I went there on several occasions.
Wow.
There are ETs in that base. There's also human military bases. And it's kind of you know, it's not really it's kind of all connected. It's not really segregated, you know, as far as like, oh, this part's yours and this part's yours. Um, if you go a little bit further down, then I believe there is a light city. If you go down further below that, then you get to like the Agartha, which is more inner Earth than Middle Earth. But so there's some layers, but there's definitely a lot going on in Antarctica and has been for a very long time because it's such an old part. Well, obviously it's all old landmass, right? But it's a part that so much has been covered up. It had such a rich history, and then with all the ice and everything has made it less accessible, right, to us. And there's a lot buried there. There's a lot of technologies buried there. There's a lot of ancient species buried there. They do a lot of weird experiments with extracting DNA that they find and trying to reconstitute creatures that lived here a long time ago. I think that some of our weird movies come from sometimes. You know what I'm talking about. So that's a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness, thank you. All right. And so Antarctica, when we look at Admiral Byrd, this is like what we do know for a fact and how he had his mission and ended up in a tropical zone in Antarctica. And he feels that that was inner Earth. Really amazing. And so we can talk about entrances to inner Earth, but you're here to talk about connecting with inner Earth as well. So Agartha, that absolutely is real.
Absolutely.
Um, did you get close to Agartha? Were you that deep, or did you just become familiar with this by being there?
So yeah, well, so a couple of things, I've actually been to Inner Earth on multiple occasions as a child. Um, Part of
Wow.
I had kind of a group that I worked with when I was young, and some of those were, directly connected to my Syrian family. But what the name I was given at one point was the Lightworkers Network Alliance. And it was basically positive ETs, primarily Syrian, inner Earth beings, and humans that were, working for the light agenda within the military and government systems and programs. So that was my group of helpers, right? I think today that would be what the hats essentially are, right? But I had my core individuals that were there for me. One of them was an inner earth healer by the name of Talisman, and he was an elder man who would basically bring me back to life on multiple occasions. I mean, that happened through many different ways, but that was a lot of my relationship with him was him, bringing me, healing my body, and my soul from its experiences. He created a crystal bed for me that was my own crystal bed. So they program them for your DNA. Um, so I had that, and I visited both Inner Earth and Agartha. Um, Agartha, not as much as Inner Earth. Most of the time when I was being taken to Inner Earth, it was for healing. So it was, you know, though I was given the offer to stay if I wanted to. I was very dedicated to my mission and just wanted to get back to it. Not that there's not part of me today going, why didn't I just. But yeah, most of my interactions were going in for healing and staying for a little while after, and kind of observing and absorbing what was going on, and then going home, and then sometimes not even staying and just, going straight home.
All right, this is so fascinating. All right, so when you were in Inner Earth, did they take you consciously to Inner Earth, or did you go physically when you were in Antarctica?
Uh, Physically, both. I didn't go to Inner Earth when I was in Antarctica. This was in during different. I basically not the time when I touched that device when I was 15. I basically went deep enough to touch that device, woke up and was like, "Psh, I'm out." Um, my journeys to Inner Earth happened during other experiences where I was either on the brink of death or needing to get out of the situation I was in. So mostly rescue missions or healing missions of swooping me up from the situation I was in, taking me underground to heal me, and then bringing me back.
Wow. This is just an amazing story. And so, and again, it's the topic connecting to inner earth and the importance of it. All right, can you tell us more about the device that was around at the creation of the earth? Is that like the Ark of the Covenant, or what is that?
No, so there's actually two of these. One at the north and one at the south. And they are So the way that it's been told to me is that they basically hold the entire coding for the planet. So no planet without them. So basically, they are primarily of different crystal technologies, sacred geometry, and it's all by master scientists, right, that created these on planet Sirius. Um, and when these two are turned on together, they're able to pull from the environment what they need to bring this coding to life, which is so that's and then there's some other supporting devices that go around and are connected to those that help create the grid system, which in this inner earth course we will touch on a little bit the grid system, and the crystal grid system and the trees and how the trees connect in as well.
Very cool. Okay. You're talking about a course that will be that we'll talk about later in this program and have
Yeah.
people sign up for. It's really wonderful. And people can join that and ask you even more questions. But okay, so that is so amazing. All right. Now the trees, no wonder so many of us feel so connected to the trees, their beings, and when maybe this is a little off topic. No, it's not. It's not. When we are, so when like, all right, how do I put this? Trees are being cut down in my old neighborhood, and it breaks my heart for the sake of forest fires. But there was no forest fire by those trees. It was a brush fire and wind that destroyed 1,000 homes in Boulder, Colorado. But now they've gone and they've taken billions of federal billions, 3 billion, I believe, $3 billion in federal funding to cut down trees. Not all the trees. They're not like scraping, they're going selectively. Not, I don't even know if they're selective, but they're thinning out a forest, a natural forest that never had a fire there. And, the scientists will say, oh, it's because we've suppressed the fires for so long. Do you think there's another agenda or reason for cutting down the trees?
Absolutely. I think there always has been. When you think back to, we go back to, destroying the Amazon rainforest and when logging became really like a really big thing. And there is I think there's a deep awareness within the dark agenda that trees are, it's not just about oxygen. They're very, very, they are beings and they're very, very connected to the grid system of Earth. In fact, they will naturally plant themselves along the natural ley lines. So like when somebody goes in and creates landscapes, or replants, that's not the same as them doing it themselves, right? Because they're naturally they know where to go, right? They help keep those ley lines strong, and then they channel in that God frequency right into the ley lines. They're like antennas for source energy uh into the planet. So I think there's a huge agenda, attached to that, whether or not that's like, the conscious, intentional agenda of the guys currently thinning the forest near your neighborhood, you know, but it all feeds in and supports, on one level or another. That is the bottom line. The bottom line is the trees are a consciousness. They are a consciousness that help to support, and not just support, but keep our natural structure of our planet intact in a healthy, harmonious way. So taking them out is in direct opposition, like so many other things going on.
Yes, okay. And I know there's people in this audience that are learning to channel the trees, talk to the trees, hug the trees. So, all right, that's really cool. Thank you for sharing on that. So, so then these devices then were created to help establish the grid system on Earth. And inner Earth, connecting to inner Earth, why is this so important? Your story shows how robust you were in getting out of it and the support that you had. And it always goes back to this inner earth connection. Tell us more. What is happening here?
Yeah. So, the way that the information or story has come to me is that, originally all of Earth was connected. Inner Earth, Middle Earth, Outer Earth. It was all just life flowing together, connected. There was no separation. Um, and this was before we had that shadow influence, right?
Mhm.
Um, excuse me one second. Um,
Yes, we can see like the earth and even the stories of people in boats at the poles going into inner earth through the river systems, the ocean systems, right?
yep,
Okay, all connected. Very
all
cool.
connected. Yeah. There's a huge inner Earth ocean. It's all connected. Um, However, um, because of what was happening on the surface, uh, inner Earth eventually basically created a barrier to the outer layers of Earth, um, because there was like no talking to us, at some point after the Matrix was fully established, and it's like our consciousness was, it's kind of like he's trying to talk to somebody who's just totally asleep, and so they were just like, okay, to protect the rest of Earth, we have to create this barrier for now and wait it out, wait for them to get to a time and a place where they're ready to wake up, and then we can all work together to clean and clear the surface. And that's one thing that is also, I think, is really beautiful, that I'm continuously brought back to in my conversations with Inner Earth, is that we're being sold this story on the surface, that our planet is dying, that we've got global warming and we've got, all these problems. But the truth of the matter is that the majority of the world is inside, and it's doing just fine, you know. So that story is a lie. And it's part of the group program brainwash that we're all under, right? So as we begin to reconnect with inner earth and remember who we really are, because that's what they want to help us do, right? Is remember who we are and what this place really is. Then they have the technologies to clean and you clean the air, clean the water, clean the ground. Like it's they have it all, and it's not that they're not trying to share. They're again, it's like it's a protective thing. Like when you guys get to a place where you're awake enough, like then we can do this. But until then, it puts the entire planet at in jeopardy, right? For them to consider just totally coming out, because that's what's happened in the past, after Atlantis. It was like, okay, we're gonna just kind of go inside for a while, and we'll wait for you guys to be ready. But we're getting there. We're getting there. And more and more conversations need to start happening. And so establishing this telepathic link and going for these astral travels and 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 really starting to form these relationships with them on this, you know, um, in these other dimensional realities, um, is gonna create the bridge for us to reestablish, this continuous connection for all life. So
I know there's so many of us have been waiting for that, waiting for this connection. Some are still getting over the belief of even if it exists. I know, when I first heard it, it was like, oh my goodness, that is so beautiful, right? And so, over time we tend to forget, but your experience and others' experiences as well is so real. Now, so I hope you can take us on a little journey or a process so that we can visit and try to connect telepathically. I mean, we want that. And as we were sharing before we started the show, about your background, your personal journey on the first 15 years of your life and how, wow, that was amazing. And it's like the lesson is work on our consciousness, expand our consciousness as much as possible. Wake up is another way that we can do it. See that we are more than just this physical body. We're so much more. We're multidimensional. And so as we are doing this and learning this, do you have you ever been in conversation with the inner earth beings about a timeline? Do you foresee when this happens? I know it's one heart at a time, and it could be happening one heart at a time, these connections, as people channel inner earth beings. So what are your thoughts on the timeline and really what then needs to do, how we can connect even more?
Yeah, yeah. Um, the timeline always comes up in this conversation, and I love it because it's such a um it's such a human with something we're so programmed for. We're like, when is it gonna happen? What's the time frame?
It should be here already.
Yeah, yeah. And and I've asked before, and there's never like a here's what it's going to happen. And partly because they know that I know better, and I grew up with timelines, right? It's like they are changing constantly, constantly changing which timeline we're on,
Uh-huh.
what's the time frame of this timeline or that timeline, and
Okay.
it can get all very very heady and
Yeah.
can set us up for a lot of, I think, false hope and people getting really like geared up.
Uh,
You start listening to some of the timelines that are out there today, not to bring too much of this in, but about, oh, the quantum financial system is coming, next month. Oh no, next month. No, so that sort of a thing where, I believe all the changes are coming, but they come through us learning to really be present with what is, right? Really claiming this present reality and the truth of it. And in this present reality and the truth of it, not only am I a free and sovereign being, right? But I am a free and sovereign being who is actually, my body is an extension of this earth body. And we are one and the same and connected. And my consciousness is an extension of this earth consciousness in part, right? So we're all sharing. And so therefore I am already connected to inner earth and the consciousness there as well. So the answer could be, in other words, right now, right now. And
yes.
I do believe, and I do also know that, I'm not the only child that was ever helped by inner earth, and I do know that one of the ways that they have continued to help humanity is they have rescued children, and there are children that were born on the surface that have grown up inside inner earth, and then help others, but they can't rescue everybody. We gotta figure this out for ourselves too. But they are helping where they feel they can. And that connection is never, it is happening now. There are, you could call them like inner earth spies, that that do come out and be present for certain situations to help diffuse things and help rescue some of the children and things like that. They just have to be very careful about how much they do that, and so I think it really all depends on what you said, consciousness and how much are we willing to expand our consciousness. And I think the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that that's not always a fun experience, right? For me, my consciousness was put to sleep and I had to re-remember all this stuff. All I had was bits and pieces. And for a lot of the people that I work with privately, that's what they're going through too, you know. And with all of what happens on the surface and all the control and all the manipulation, like I think we have to start recognizing where that touches us and has touched us, right? And it's not going to be like it is for me for everyone, obviously, but there are more that have experienced things like this than we know of. And the more room we can leave for that, I think the more that leads to everybody's consciousness waking up, even if you don't personally have that stuff, making room to know that that is, part of what is happening. And, so on and so forth. But the consciousness, opening up that consciousness, expanding further and working through being patient with ourselves, being present with ourselves, being patient and kind and present with each other, all as we're in this healing process together. And, I think I mentioned the book that I'm working on, and that there's, it's a lot about this journey for the planet, for the individual. How do we come back into this place of harmony with Earth? Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. And so listening to you speak, and then thinking about it happening, when's it going to happen? The heady question. And realizing, what if we just become so present that we feel that right now? What
Yes.
if we trust this? So like if we come into our heart and feel this, then we're making that connection. I know you're going to lead us on a little journey too, but we're making that connection. So we are, and if we are an extension of Earth, her body and her consciousness, then I love this topic of connecting with inner Earth and truly being it. So each of us are an acupuncture point on the planet
I
to
love that. Yeah.
connect with inner Earth. I love it too. It's really quite fascinating. All right, before we go into maybe a meditation or a process to go in and connect with inner Earth, can you share, I'm hearing our audience ask what it looks like. What was it like? What did it feel like? Because I've had a vision, it's very mossy and wet, kind of a wet.
I was going to say kind of similar to your background, you know. Um, you know, uh, I've seen it depicted in a few movies, and probably similar to that. I think we know what it looks like, what we imagine, ancient Lemuria to look like, very similar, it's got that tropical you know, plants and animals and that kind of, there are animals there that, we don't have here. There are also animals there that we used to have here, right? So that's another thing they've done, is they've preserved some of the species that we've lost on the surface, but they also have animals that we don't have. And it's all, what does it feel like? It feels, it just feels totally good. It feels completely harmonious. There is this experience of everything being communicated. I don't know how else to say it. It's not like telepathy, although telepathy is there. But so part of what has unfolded for me in the story of Earth and everything I'm writing about is that there is an energy system that begins from the soul of the planet, and she is like our heart, right? Our energy heart. And her energy flows through all life here and all those waterways we were talking about, right? And which we have our own waterways in our bodies. So this system that flows through all of us, that's her flowing through everything, allows for a communication to happen through the body, through let's call it a body brain, right? That connects everything that's happening here in a unified, I don't want to even say field of consciousness, but like unified consciousness, just consciousness, right? So there's this sense when you're in inner Earth where you feel and know everything that's going on. It's not overwhelming. It's just like all happening, and it's very harmonious and easeful and peaceful. And yeah, if that makes sense. Um, there was one other thing I wanted to jump back just for a moment, when, that we were talking the question, like, can this happen now?
Mhm.
Um, the other thing that is important to note is that, there is a different vibrational frequency inside the planet than outside. We could say it's higher. We could say 5D, 3D, what, but there is this difference, right? And our bodies are not used to that. So that's another reason to start establishing this connection more remotely, is so that we start to get a sense of what it feels like to be in this energy, in these frequencies, before they start to hit our physical body, because it can be very intense otherwise.
I think we're already beginning to feel that harmony and the vibration, and I almost feel like crying.
Mm.
Telling other people, like, can't we just bring it already? And so let's do a journey. Let's do something to help us connect. I can feel so many of us say, yes, we want this. We want it. We want it. Let's connect. Let's go there. Let's travel there. Let's make that telepathic connection. And as we do this, then my last question is, yes, you still have the deep connection with the beings there? That's an obvious question.
Yeah, I do. There's a collective that I speak with pretty regularly, and there's a few different ones, but there's one right in the center of the planet in Agartha that I speak with pretty regularly. That healer I spoke of at the beginning, Talisman, was a part of. And what's interesting is that a lot of the cities that are closer to the surface, not all of them even directly connect with Agartha. So just kind of interesting, because I've telepathically connected with some of the beings in some of the other light cities that are closer to the surface, and asked them about it, and had their response be, we don't go that deep. Oh, that's very interesting. So some of them do, and some of them then don't. I mean, not that they're not aware that it's there, because they are, but very different layer.
Okay, so they really just in that, okay, so many layers. Our Earth is huge. Okay. And so do they ever travel around to other cities? Do they ever come to the surface?
Yeah, that layer, like, we'll call it Middle Earth, right? So we've got the crust, which is where we are, and then we've got that middle layer that has dark cities and light cities, and there are definitely some darker ET cities, some reptilian cities, things like that, right? And then you've got like the famous Telos under Mount Shasta, and um Shangri-La. So some of these cities around the world, um, and there's a lot of they're still in the war. They're fighting each other. They're fighting infiltration from the surface.
Mm.
But all of these cities, the light cities, maybe the dark cities too, I just don't know. But they all have codes. And if you don't have the codes, you can't get into the city. So a lot of the sort of warring ends up being about trying to get each other's codes to get into the cities, to penetrate that first layer, right? But then there are a few connection points that do also go straight to Agartha. Obviously, you can get there from the poles. You can get there through a few of these cities. There's some ways that you can get there. There is an ocean that you end up hitting, um, that you have to traverse through most of that. And then there is, I know of one connection point in the heart of Africa that goes directly to the center as well.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, and this is my last question, I promise, before
Mm.
we go into our journey or experience. So there's a temple in Bhutan called Tiger's Nest, and it is on the side of a cliff, on the side of a mountain, literally up on the side of a mountain. When I saw that, something resonated so deeply within me. It caught my breath, and I was like, oh, that goes to inner earth. And so I'm thinking maybe it goes to one of these Middle Earth cities that you're talking about. Are you familiar with that at all? Do you have any information on that?
I don't on that particular area, but I wouldn't doubt it at all, especially if you're feeling it. and that's part of this too, is like,
What do we feel?
yeah, please let your intuition be your guide, you know.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
was, yeah, there was a place that one of the places I lived at in the last 10 years, I was there for 5 years. It was in beautiful forest, and I knew I could feel that there was a city close by. Um, but
Oh,
it's not on any map. It's smaller, not as big as some of these others, but yeah, so I think we can definitely feel it. And some of it too, we might even just be feeling like the entrance, right? Because sometimes there's many entrances to tunnels that lead to the city. So it might not be like we're feeling the entrance, right? But um the city is actually some distance away, and there may be multiple entrances to it.
wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing. This is so fascinating. Can we do a little journey then, connecting us in? Teach us how to do this, please.
Absolutely.
Wow. Because we are right there with you. We want to build and cultivate this connection. I think every person watching and listening wants it. We want this. And because we do this, we are actually helping bridge this connection and make this happen.
Yeah, like
Like
really.
that.
Yeah. No. Yes, really happening.
Okay, I got God bumps all over. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, Beth.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'll just get everybody a little bit centered and grounded first. We'll connect with source, and then with the soul of the planet, and then we'll connect in with inner earth. And I'm feeling like we're gonna go to Agartha. It is interesting to visit, some of these other light cities, but it feels like today, it feels like we're gonna go to Agartha and be there and feel that, because I want you guys all to feel that. So yeah, so let's start by just closing our eyes and bringing our focus inward. This lot we've talked about a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot that's activated in a lot of people. So just bringing your awareness to your breath and your body, and all those activated parts of you, just breathe them into your body and really feel your body and your connection to the floor or bed, whatever you're laying on or sitting on, just feeling that connection to your physical body and breathing into that. Just a couple more deep breaths, bringing in all those parts and pieces of you on the inhales and exhales, just really sinking into your body. And high above your head, you can see this infinite source point. This is a beautiful, brilliant, white, sparkly, pearly light. This point of oneness of all existence. And to visualize it, and visualize actually just going into it for a moment, high, high above you, going into it, feeling your oneness completely merge with the oneness of all energy, all existence. And bring that oneness down in a pillar of light above your head and going through your body, bringing this pillar of pure source energy all the way through every level of your consciousness and down into the center of the earth, like a pillar or spear of pure source energy. And let it soften when it gets to the center of the earth as you notice this beautiful pink energy at the center of the planet. This beautiful pink, soft energy at the center of the planet. This is the soul of the planet. And just allow yourself to be here in this softness for a moment. In this pure, loving, compassionate energy. And notice that it has, just let everything get soft. You can envision yourself sitting on this energy, like if she was just a sphere of pink plasma. You can imagine sitting on her, kind of cross-legged, or you might want to lay on her. Just feeling that connection and noticing that she has an ebb and a flow. So like a breath or a heartbeat. Okay. Gentle expansion and contraction. And feel yourself, your body, as it rests upon her, moving with this rhythm of her ebb and flow. Allowing yourself to feel completely united with her energy. Notice how at ease you feel. You may notice that your heartbeat has slowed down a little bit, or your breath, and that's perfectly okay. Your nervous system has slowed down, I'm sure. And so allowing that peace to be one with you. Now, just as you are, from this place in the center of the planet, with the purest intention in your heart, you're going to ask the soul of the planet for permission, please, to be taken into Agartha from here as a witnessing presence, a non-intrusive witnessing presence. And just wait for a moment to really get confirmation that from this pure place in your heart that it's okay. And that feel like everybody's getting that confirmation. And ask her to slowly, gently guide you into this land, which begins to form just outside of her as she's the center. Just outside of her. You may notice that you go through a very bright light before you start to hit the land, come in contact with the land. You may also notice some water that you need to cross before you get to the land. And I can see that Agarthans showing up, greeting you. So they're ready, and you're helping you to make that transition from the soul of the planet into that physical space with them, into Agartha. So just looking for them to help you get there. Traversing anything that needs to be traversed to get into that space with them. And just know wherever, so each of you is being given a guide, I see. And a Garthan that has volunteered to come and guide you. So each of you may be taken someplace slightly different. Don't worry about what anybody else's experience is. Just allow the guide that's shown up for you to take you to where you need to go, or what they would like you to see and feel. And And take a moment and just, as you move further into the land, really feel what it feels like under your feet. What it feels like to take a breath here. What it sounds like. What sounds you hear. And again, what do you feel? Physically feel under your feet, but energetically feel in your heart, in your mind, on your skin. And allow your guide to take you a little further in. Anything else they'd like you to see at this time? And notice around you what you see, what animals, plants. You don't have, it's okay if you don't recognize them. Just take them in, just notice them. Sense if it's okay to reach out and touch any of these plants or animals, make contact in any way. Or yeah, or if you can just already feel the connection, even without physical contact. And you already feel that connection. And just taking another moment here, really taking it in, breathing it in, checking with your guide to see if there's anything else at this moment that's important for you to know, to see. And coming out of it, we're gonna allow our guide to actually just take us back to the soul of the planet. They know exactly how to get there. So just let them, let them take you and take in everything you're noticing as you're going back the other way too. Everything you see and feel energetically, physically, that harmony, that heart connection. Just taking all of that in as you slowly are guided back to the soul of the planet. And as you get back with the soul of the planet, taking some time here to again just be with her and allow your breath and your heart to connect again with hers, to link with hers. And as you feel this sinking, again, this linking, sinking between the heart and the breath, thanking your guide and thanking all of Agartha for being open, willing to show you around, show us around. And you can take this harmonious feeling with you out into the day. Take this connection you feel with the soul of the planet out into the day. And also just to start gently bringing us out. I want you to once again envision that pillar of light from source energy that you brought in, that went all the way into the center of the earth and kind of melted in with the soul of the planet. And once again, follow that up, bringing some of the soul, the planet, some of her energy, Mama Gaia's energy with you up into your body, up into this pillar, and into your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome. I hope that wasn't too long. Was that okay timing?
Oh, we wanted to hang out there so much more. I just am in deep gratitude. That was perfect. And I want to say there's the visions that each of us had, remember that, write it down, feel that always, in all ways. I saw oceans, I saw rivers, I saw people, I saw animals. It was beautiful. And when we went to the soul of Earth, Gaia, I recognized her within me, like we're part, like, is that possible that we can share a soul or be a soul aspect of Earth?
I believe that many of us that are here at this time have either been a soul of a planet before at another time or have worked very closely with her soul in a similar way at another time, because so many of us feel that way. Yeah.
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 Okay.
And I think that's part of the intention really that Earth was set for, was to come have that experience of what it's like to really unite in this way. Not that it's the only experience to have, but it was part of why Earth was created to have, was to really feel that unity that deeply, experience it that deeply.
Beautiful. Keep feeling this unity, feeling everyone. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. And I just, I keep thinking about the other beings, children who, or people who've gone to inner earth. And I trust that a conversation like this will encourage them to step up and step out and to share if they remember it and if they feel safe and supported. But you're doing incredible work and it's so brilliant. And I mean, I feel so refreshed and connected. I feel so connected. There's an immense amount of hope, like hope. On the surface, we are so, it's like the divide and conquer program is on exponential high, like beyond it can it even get anymore? Where now it's just becoming ludicrous.
Mhm.
And so at one point, it's when we come into this harmony again, and we remember that we are all connected, just like inner earth is connected. I see that we are remembering that, and that gives us power and it gives us unity to rise above the divisiveness. And it gives us sovereignty as well. That word sovereignty, that's powerful. Okay, well, what a beautiful multi-dimensional experience this was. We are changed. Every single person watching and listening has that connection now, and there's no going back. We will always remember this connection and deepen it. Thank you.
Yes.
Now, there is a promotion that we're doing with your course, and I'd like to talk about that now because we're going to spend time with you and you're going to teach us more about how we really work with Inner Earth and Gaia, how we align with Gaia so deeply that we can never really go back and we really are on New Earth. I'm going to put the link in our Zoom chat, and it's on this webpage or it's in the YouTube channel description box. Share with us about this program, this course that you're going to be teaching.
Yeah, this new old Earth. Well, we will we're going to be doing similar to what we did today. We're going to be diving into the individual aspects of Middle Earth, of Inner Earth. We'll spend some time remote viewing and astral traveling into some of the Middle Earth cities, and of course, Inner Earth and Agartha. We'll spend some time exploring the inner ocean and some of the cetacean-like creatures of the inner ocean, and the connection between that ocean and the waters of our body, and receive some light language activations and clearings through that harmonization of the water of Inner Earth, the water of our bodies. Spend some more time connecting with that individual inner guide, and that's really going to be like, that's the biggest thing that's going to help us to continue to build this relationship, is the strengthening of the relationship with the inner guide of Inner Earth. And then we'll have some time to find out more about their technologies, their healing abilities, agriculture, how those kinds of things work, and meet the Council of Healers of Agartha, of Inner Earth, is what I call them, that I speak with. And of course, they'll be, you're welcome to commune with whoever you like, but we'll meet them specifically, and then we'll connect with the galactic crystal consciousness, as well as and receive activations from that, because within the technology that Earth was created with, and that holds some of those grid systems together, is really that crystal technology, and that crystal technology within us. So again, we're matching the water with our water. We're now matching the crystal with our crystal. And then we'll also spend some time communing with the tree consciousness and the ancient tree beings, and that consciousness as a galactic consciousness through creation, and receive some activation codes, light language codes from them as well. And then we will have time for sharing experiences, answering questions, things like that. But we've got a pretty well-rounded journey ahead of us, I think.
Yes, I mean, wow. I just want to say how special this is. Thank you. 5 sessions with you. 5 sessions. This is so great. For anyone who feels the resonance in this and you need help to get this, there's a 2 payment plan for you. It really is so beautiful, the amount of time that we're going to spend with you. There's so much that's going to be, like almost 10 hours then, or,
Yeah.
yeah, because 5 sessions. And wow, I'm really excited for this. So, another beautiful benefit, you mentioned earlier that you help people with personal sessions, helping them to integrate this and maybe awaken the codes with them in them even more. And this is another option, which that's a beautiful one. Not only do people get the course, but they can get that personal session with you. And that's a 60-minute, 1 hour session. Wow,
Yes. Yeah.
thank you. You want to share anything on what happens in a session?
Yeah, well, you can choose. You could choose to get a light language channeled session from the Syrian High Council. You could choose to get more of a personal session of sort of clearing and lifting any blocks toward your own personal journey and where you're at, coupled with maybe looking at, you know, any tools or skills to help continue that. And then we could, also make it specific to the course and get some channel downloads from Inner Earth as well, could be incorporated into that also. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. The Zoom chat now has that link and it's there for you. I'm just so excited. This again, it just feels so good to make this a reality right now. There's no more doubt on it. The mission is to remember this and align fully with Gaia. Remarkable. Thank you so much. Okay. So again, we invite our viewers and listeners to check it out and join us. You can feel your excitement in your body, and what you've journeyed on today is just the start of your own advanced journey, even more. So please join us. And Beth, as we say goodbye, I want to thank you. I thank the many Syrian beings that are around you, your council that's around you. And I would like to just have you share any final thoughts on the importance of doing this work now at this time.
Yeah, my final thoughts would be thank you. Also, final thoughts would be that I we have a lot of focus outward right now. People channeling the Galactic Federation and channeling and yes, I will channel the Syrian High Council as well. But for us to really be successful in ascension, in harmony, whatever, wording we want to use, but to really have a thriving planet, I think the key is to really work with these energies and these beings that are already having a thriving relationship with the planet. This planet specifically, everybody else is from somewhere else, and we are the humans and they are the humans. So I think building that connection is really key to our advancement. We'll call it that. Yeah.
I'm feeling that. I am very hopeful and excited, and even with fresh energy, even looking around externally at the collective and the way the earth is being mistreated. And now it really is game on in a new, fresh sense. It's game on with our love and this connection. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling deeply connected, and everyone is, I'm sure. And this is a different world from this connection, from this conversation today. You've helped us make the world a little bit better right now. Thank you, Beth, Rachel. Thank you.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. We love you, and we thank you for your light and for aligning with Gaia in this way. Thank you. Namaste. Bye. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.